Welcome back to Flowing Mobility Tai Chi and our journey together in learning the 24 form, Yang style. Now, the last lessons, we have learned the Tai Chi walk. We have also learned the move serve the hors d'oeuvre. Now, in this lesson, I'm going to teach you the move that I call push the pie. The official name for it is brush knee. But I refer to it as push the pie, and I think you'll see why. Once you've learned push the pie, then I will seam the forms that you have learned together. Let's go ahead and move forward with learning the form brush knee, the official term, or push the pie, my term. Alrighty, Maestro, you need to move now. Thank you, sweetie. All right, go on. Okay. Let's go ahead and just get in your Tai Chi stance, shoulder width apart. And I want you to hold a pie, an imaginary pie, with your left hand. And we're going to turn 90 degrees to the right. Remember, in our first lessons, we learned the angles and the 90-degree turn. Now, as you're holding that pie with your left hand, I want you to imagine that here comes somebody through the door coming straight at you from 90 degrees. I don't even want you to think. I just want you to take that pie, take a step, and push the pie into their face. Yes. You see, giving it a context makes it so easy to learn. So hold that pie with your left hand, and you're going to make a 90-degree turn to your right. Here we go, and here they come, push the pie. Yes. And let's just do one more so you can get that feeling and that imagery in mind. Holding the pie. And here they come 90 degrees at you. Turn 90 degrees, push the pie into their face. Now, don't get overzealous about pushing the pie. A lot of times my students will lean too far in their enthusiasm to push the pie, and they'll also straighten out their elbow, okay? Our principles still apply here. We want to keep our buttons in alignment and our joints soft. So as you push that pie, you keep all of your postural integrity. Now, let's try it to the other side. So hold the pie with your right hand, and you're going to make a 90-degree turn towards your left. Imagine somebody coming at you. Don't overthink this. Just turn and push that pie in their face. That's it. And let's do that a couple times. And go. Very nice. And one more time. Nice cream pie or pie of your choice. And here comes this person that you don't care for too much. Push the pie. Keep your posture upright and your elbow soft. Now, let's just add a few more nuances to this. As I push the pie, pie's in my left hand now, as I push the pie, you notice that my back heel squirts. Boop. All I'm doing is pivoting on the ball of my foot and squirting the heel as I turn my dantian. And that puts me in a nice, what we call bow stance. All right, so follow me closely and slowly. Here we are. You're holding the pie in your left hand. We're going to turn towards your right. So turn and push that pie, and then we squirt the heel. Yeah, did you get that? Just a little pivot. Make sure you do it on the ball of your foot. It's much harder to do it on the heel. So do it on the ball of your foot, and don't over squirt. It's not going to be parallel. When I say parallel, I have some wood boards here. It's not parallel, it's just a 45-degree angle. All right, let's try that again. Hold your pie, left hand. Turn and push the pie and squirt the heel, and then just sink right into your nice upright posture. Okay, how'd that feel? If you have any discomfort, you're probably taking too big of a step or you're over squirting the heel. All right, here we go. And turn and squirt the heel. Let's try it to the other side. Holding the pie with your right, we're going to turn 90 degrees to the left. And step, push the pie, squirt that back heel. Okay? Just comes out just a little bit. about 45 degrees, and pushing the pi. Let's try that a couple more times to that side. We're just holding the pi, don't worry about this arm. Turn and squirt the heel. Okay, I actually didn't do that one real well. Let's try that again. Here we go. You turn and squirt the heel. You see it was more integrated, the dantian, the heel, and the hand all at one time. Yeah. Now, common mistakes that I see in my students. One of the common mistakes is that we get a bob. And the reason they get this bob is when they squirt the heel, they've got their weight back on this foot. And so they have to offload it for half a second to get back to get it squirted without torquing the knee. Okay, to avoid that, you're going to weight shift, offload that back leg a bit, weight shift your weight to 70 to 80% to the front leg, and then you can squirt the back heel easier. And that avoids that little bob. In Tai Chi, we should be staying at the same height, generally speaking, the same height all the time. So whatever your Tai Chi stance is, that's your set point, that's your height, and you should try to stay at that height, no matter whether it's here, for some of you that might have some knee problems, or if you're really wanting that deep stance, which I don't recommend, then you would stay down here at all times. We want to keep it nice and even, no bebops. All right, here we are. Let's try it together and hold the pi with your left hand, 90-degree turn to the right. And here we are, turn, and then offload the back foot, squirt the heel, and then we settle back down. And your distribution of weight is about 70-30, 60-40. I'd be happy even with 50-50, but what I don't want is 90-10, or the heel coming up in the back, okay? Heels are down, 70-30, 60-40. Good. Let's try it to the other side. So holding the pi with your right, 90-degree turn to your left. We step, weight shift forward, squirt the heel, and settle into your position. About 70-30. 70 on the front, 30 on the back. All right, again, let's just sort of think in a general way, think about that somebody's coming this direction, you want to push that pi in their face, go. And squirt the heel, sink. Yeah, good. The better you get at this, the more subtle the heel squirt will become. Another common mistake that many of my students make is that, and this applies to all moves, is that they bring the wrist up too high when they push the pi. This wrist position is called wrist extension, and it's a compromising position. You can imagine if I have my wrist like this, that my opponent could come in and just bend my wrist back, and then here they have me. We don't want to have that vulnerability. We don't want to give that opportunity to our opponent. You want to keep your wrist at neutral, and in some instances even slightly flexed. That means that when we push the pi, that we're not into wrist extension. You will see this a lot, and this is incorrect. You want to have more of a neutral wrist position, not way up like this. The one reason I gave you is for protecting yourself against an opponent. Another reason is to facilitate the proper breathing in Tai Chi. We don't choreograph our breathing in Tai Chi to a move. If you have proper fundamentals in place, then you're going to start breathing properly on its own. You'll be breathing more from the dantian or the abdominal area rather than up here. When we breathe up here, this is flight or fight. We reside up here probably most of our day, and that gives us a flight or fight response. It's called the sympathetic nervous system. And it excretes all sorts of bad hormones into our body, like cortisol, which is a stress hormone. If we drop the breathing down to our abdominal area or our dantian, then we are triggering the parasympathetic system, and that calms us down and that flushes the cortisol out of our system. And one of the powers of Tai Chi is that it facilitates this more abdominal breathing. The key word being facilitates. It does not force. We don't choreograph our breathing to the movements, and we don't force ourselves to breathe here. Just by virtue of having the proper posture and the proper Tai Chi principles in place, you will breathe down here. Here's a simple example. Go ahead and hold a ball out front and have your wrist at neutral. You see how they're just gently curved? I'm not like this, just gently curved. So I'm holding the ball. And just get in your Tai Chi stance and take a few nice, easy breaths. Okay, thank you for doing that with me. Now I want you to take your wrist and put them in that full wrist extension, like so. And just notice where your breathing is. Now, do you feel how your breathing went up high and it got very tight? Just by the virtue of changing our wrist position, we can change the breathing pattern from up here, flight or fight, to neutral, and our breath drops down to the abdominal area. Be very careful or aware, I think is a better word, of what your joints are doing. And keeping them in a nice neutral fluid position allows us to have breathing in the proper position. That was just a little bit of an aside, but very relevant to this specific move. Let's push the pie, and we'll go to your left. So holding the pie here with your right hand. And step, weight shift forward, squirt your heel, and then just check your wrist position. And see if you have it in neutral, okay, which means not a whole lot of flexion and not a whole lot of extension, just a nice neutral position. And that will help you to drop your energy and your breathing down to the dantian level. Okay. Now you've noticed I haven't talked about this other hand very much. In fact, we haven't done anything with it. And that's the beauty of this move, is we don't have to think about that hand. We just put it in position and leave it there. And it just goes along for the ride. Take your pie and hold it in your left hand. And your right hand, the purpose of it again is to block. So it's just down in front of you, nicely curved, wrist neutral. And all it does is go along for the ride. I would like for you to just watch me on this one. Don't do it with me. And you'll see how that bottom hand does not move from the shoulder to the elbow anywhere. It's just kind of stuck in that position. And I'm going to go a side view. You'll see that it brushes across the knee just by virtue of rotating my dantian. I'm not swatting it. I'm not moving at my shoulder or my elbow. That's the name of this form, is brush knee, but yet that arm we don't even need to think about. Okay, let's try it and put your arm in position and then just don't even think about it and don't try to move it. Pie in your left hand. The right hand is set to block. Okay, here we are. And we're going to push that pie. Take your step, weight shift forward, squirt the heel, and now your dantian is facing straight ahead of you. Wrist neutral, not extended up, elbow slightly bent. Heel down and back, posture upright. Now, let's try 2 or 3 more of those. Hold the pie, set your arm. Shoulder doesn't move, elbow doesn't move. And here we are, turn, push the pie. Again, step, push the pie. One more, I'll go a little slower. Notice, no movement here. Well, now let's try it to the other side. Holding the pie with your right hand, left hand blocks. Just setting that arm there. And we step, weight shift, squirt the heel, push the pie. And notice this bottom hand just went along for the ride. And let's try a couple more of those. When we are turning towards your left, you're holding the pie with your right hand. And go. And one more. Holding the pie. Turn, weight shift forward, squirt the heel, push the pie, and your left arm is just going along for the right. Wrist in neutral, elbow neutral, body upright, not leaning. And you certainly do not have to have this wide of a stance or sitting down this low. I'll do one more on each side with just a higher stance. Please do not think you have to have a nice low, or rather a low stance for it to be quality Tai Chi. It's simply not the case. Here we are. I take a smaller step and settle. If your body is, you will know, you will listen to your body, and if it feels uncomfortable or it's giving you a pang of pain somewhere, then shorten your stride and stand up more. That's a good way of modifying, and yet it does not dilute the Tai Chi, the powers of Tai Chi. And here we are holding now with your left, block with the right, and I will take a smaller step. I'm going to turn, push the pie. Yeah. You might have even felt a different energy there. It wasn't working quite as hard. Probably better for me as well. Here we are. Turn, smaller step, and push the pie. Okay, so that is brush knee or push the pie. And you've learned that movement to left and to the right. Now, the next lesson, I'm going to put that with your Tai Chi walk. You already know the footwork, and we'll be doing push the pie to our left corner, to our right corner, or, just like we did with serve the hors d'oeuvre. So I will look forward to sharing our next lesson and learning brush knee or push the pie. And thank you for joining me at Flowing Mobility Tai Chi.